Okay, good morning, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2026. It is 9 a.m. All council members are present. Vice Mayor Safford is remote. Town manager, deputy town manager, town clerk, and town attorney. Before we get to the invocation, we need to get a motion to approve Vice Mayor Safford to appear remotely.
So moved. Second. Third.
Okay, we'll say we got a motion
It's
by
the John
Councilor.
twins.
We got a motion by Councilor King and seconded by Councilor McLean. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next, we'll have the invocation followed by our newest town employee, Mr. Yazo, will lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Rizzo.
We thank you. We thank you for this time and for this beautiful day. We ask to be blessed with wisdom as we discuss our strengths and our weaknesses. Help us to work as a unified team as we listen politely to others' point of view, celebrate our diversity despite our differences, and boldly steward Fort Myers Beach toward a bright and healthy future as we work together on our shared mission. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzo. Sorry about that. Rizzo, Yazo might take a little while. Exactly. Next, we have the approval of the final agenda. Is there a motion to approve the final agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilor King, seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Amy?
First up is Carol Steyer. Following Carol will be Jennifer Rusk.
Good morning.
Carol Steyer.
Carol, can you just pull the microphone over so we can,
Carol Steyer.
I don't think, is it on? There should be a button right there you could press to turn it on.
Hello?
I don't know if we hear you or not.
Hello?
No? There we go.
Right down the street here in Driftwood. I'm here to comment on the Recovery and Resilience Plan Community Open House and Survey. First, I can't help but wonder why this open house is being conducted when most residents are not here. As a full-time resident, I already know of 4 families just in the immediate area that will all be on vacation that week. Yes, there are visitors here, but a lot of the full-time residents are gone. I can't help but wonder if you're having it now to skew results to align more with London Bay and overdevelopment. Next, in my opinion, the results of the online survey can't be taken seriously anyway. There's no validation on being a resident. There's no validation for how many times you can submit the survey. And number 7 has no mention of sticking to the LDC and comp plan as a development option, a major issue right now with this town. Anyone with programming knowledge, London Bay, can create an algorithm to submit thousands of surveys claiming to be a resident and completing questions to support large developments. At a minimum, number 7 should include an option for sticking to the LDC and comp plan. I can't help but wonder the motivation. Finally, there was a recall election 8 months ago because of overdevelopment approvals. 67% of the voting residents of this town have already told you how they feel about development. You can spin these survey results any way you want to try to support London Bay and overdevelopment, but you already know 67% of this town feel about it. Please remember that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Rusk, and then after Jennifer will be Barry Frank.
Good morning.
Good morning, council and staff and community. As we rebuild our island home, it's imperative that it's done responsibly to care for our environment, waterways, wildlife, and the health of our community and visitors. Construction dumpsters can become a nuisance if left uncovered on property for an extended time. This is an environmental and health issue for our community, visitors, waterways, and wildlife. The dumpsters do not need to be full or overflowing to be an issue. Anytime a little wind or rainstorm comes through, debris can fly out and deposit onto neighboring properties and ultimately into our storm drains, Gulf, and Back Bay if not picked up in time. Construction dumpsters with garbage and debris also attract animals such as rats, raccoons, cats, and birds, which pick through the scatter both debris and food from the dumpsters. Accumulated debris in dumpsters pools rainwater that becomes a major breeding ground for mosquitoes and flies, which is a serious health risk to our community and visitors, and these insects are vectors for diseases. Leaving construction dumpsters uncovered creates significant operational, financial, and environmental liabilities. Unsecured bins invite unauthorized dumping that blows debris into neighboring properties and allows rain to pull in the waste. Uncovered dumpsters allow stormwater runoff to leach chemicals, toxins, and pollutants into the storm drains and our waterways. This violates the US EPA regulations, resulting in daily fines that can be very hefty. Open dumpsters act as a magnet for people who throw away prohibited, hazardous, or household trash in the unsecured bin. Hence the picture I gave you of the 7-Eleven off of Lagoon with a floaty falling out of the dumpster. I don't think the contractors are floating while they're building a 7-Eleven. Lightweight construction scraps like sawdust, insulation, and packaging are easily blown out of the dumpster, littering the neighborhood and causing safety hazards. These are all reasons compelling me to address the council today. I am asking the town council to have a serious discussion and come up with a plan of action. My recommendation would be to add on a construction permit, will there be a dumpster on property during the construction phase with a box to check? Underneath, all dumpsters on properties must be covered and secured overnight with either a heavy-duty tarp, clamps, bungee cords, rollover cover, or hard cover. These are my suggestions. We have laws and enforcement for nuisance violations in place if someone calls the town. However, if no one calls or picks up the waste, where does that go? Well, it goes right into our storm drains and our waterways. Everyone is vested in water quality. There's been recent challenges with fish kills. We owe it to ourselves to protect our marine resources. I urge the town council to read the EPA and SWPPP compliance guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Barry?
And that's all I have, Sanjay.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, Barry Frank, resident OG of Fort Myers Beach and your neighbor. Thank you for the opportunity to be the voice and to address you on behalf of the owners, the vendors, and businesses that make up Times Square. This is not an assault on Linda Miller. I personally love Linda and anybody who's trying to better Fort Myers Beach or bring business to Fort Myers Beach. This is strictly a request that everyone does their part and what is right, fair, and follows ordinances and codes like everyone has to. The issues that are of concern are in no way reaching, but rather what's right, fair, and reasonable, and are as follows. 2 days a week is a bit excessive if the hours are to be extended. 1 day a week is fair and reasonable. Customer access to our existing businesses are being blocked. This is simply wrong and nothing's being done about it. The preparation and sale of food are not permitted in Times Square. We're concerned that the town is not consistently enforcing ordinance section 34.678, which clearly states that food preparation apparatus, including grills and stoves, are not permitted in Times Square. That is, unless a special exception has been granted that we don't know about. There will also be serious safety hazards with the start of construction of several of the businesses in Times Square beginning in July, next month, actually. We will soon need to secure portions of Times Square from foot traffic and vendors. This will result in limited access to and for the vendors. The closure of Lynn Hall Park's parking lot and the soon-to-be closed only parking lot in Times Square will limit all activity in Times Square. Now add the lack of restrooms. Since a few months after Hurricane Ian, there have been no restrooms in Times Square. The original portables were moved to Lynn Hall and never returned. Since then, there have been markets, events, and everyday consumers that use the property owners and businesses' restrooms and trash facilities. We're not asking for the market to go away, only to be good neighbors and have respect for the people that live there. We would appreciate and welcome the opportunity to meet with town management and Linda to discuss concerns further and create definitive regulations for all the vendors in Times Square. So thank you on behalf of the owners, businesses, and vendors, Times Square.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak in public comment? Yeah, Michelle, come on up.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Cherney, 21 Fairview Boulevard. I'm here as a resident, but I'm also here as a member of Friends of Bay Oaks and What's Up FMB. Later, I'm also giving a board cap update. But first, I'd like to provide an update on the Friends of Bay Oaks. We've got some really exciting news. We've got two big events that are looking to move to Bay Oaks. The first one's the Glow by the Golf, which is through What's Up FMB, which is going to be February 2027. But the main reason I'm up here today is I'm representing the Shrimp Festival. The Lions Club is actually in a board meeting right now, approving the move of the Shrimp Festival over to Bay Oaks. The Lions Club is a long-standing community event, and we need support from the town. The Friends of Bay Oak and What's Up FMB are working closely with them to figure out all the logistics. How are we going to move them from downtown into Bay Oaks? We've already said downtown has got issues. You're probably asking, why are they looking to move? The number one reason is last year, the cost them almost $30,000 to Lee County Sheriff's Department to block off the roads. They didn't make much money last year. So Bay Oaks is the great location. In addition, the Lions Club has submitted a permit into the town to put a 10 by 10 tent down in Times Square. We're going to need help rerouting everybody. It's been years. It's always been downtown. They're going to put volunteers downtown that will push the people into Bay Oaks. So we're looking for approval on that. In addition, the Lions Club expressed concerns about competing events, i.e. the farmers market. Last year, it was very confusing. People didn't know where the Shrimp Festival was. Is that the farmers market? Is that the Shrimp Festival? This is a long-standing event. We request, the Lions Club requests that you decline any other events on the day of the Shrimp Festival. We asked the town also, we need power at Bay Oaks for these events. These aren't the only two events. We'll talk more in VORCAP, but we need power. You had power there for the temporary trailers before. We ask that you figure out the scope of the work. We understand you don't have money. If you don't have money, the community will come forward and figure out, but we need power there. Later, you're going to be approving the grass and the irrigation. That's going to get that area open up for events. My second topic is the two open positions you're going to be voting for board cab. We've got two candidates on there, Bev Mulligan and Tina Yelly. Bev, we all know, she's outstanding in the community, doing 501c3s. She's part of the Mound House, and she'd be a great asset on there. We also have Tina Yelly, if you don't know her, she's on the Lions Club. Her kids went to Bay Oaks. She's born and raised here. These are two great candidates. And we'd like you to consider voting for the two of them to add to our committee. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Next, we have a presentation for a strategic planning update to the town council. I think everybody's here. I think I saw them. Oh, over here. Come on up. Oh, do you want us to? She was here. Did she go upstairs maybe? Would you like us to come back? Give you time to find her?
Yes, because she's doing the end part.
Okay.
I know we both ran into traffic.
Yeah, we saw her earlier
Yeah,
and
she's
then you
here.
came in. So we'll just move on to local achievements and recognitions and then we'll come back to you after that. All right. Local achievements and recognitions. We got Karen Woodson's here. Karen, you want to come up and Dawn or just Karen?
Good morning. I'm Karen Woodson, 823rd Street. I'm here this morning representing What's Up FMB. I'm Vice President, and I'm here with our illustrious leader, President Dawn Miller. So good morning, Mayor, council members, town staff. On behalf of What's Up FMB, thank you for allowing us a few moments today. As part of the Freedom by the Bay, which is a Veterans Appreciation Ceremony being presented in collaboration with the town of Fort Myers Beach, we have created a commemorative Fort Myers Beach challenge coin that will be presented to veterans on the 4th of July. Because of his service as a veteran and his leadership in our community, we felt it was only fitting that town manager Will McKinney become the first recipient of our challenge coin. Will, thank you for your service to our country, your dedication to Fort Myers Beach, and your partnership in helping bring meaningful community events and programs to our island. We appreciate your leadership, your accessibility, and your commitment to making Fort Myers Beach a great place to live, work, and visit. It's our honor to present you with the first Freedom of the Bay Fort Myers Beach challenge coin.
And on a personal note, as a fellow Ohioan, I'd also like to present you with a Buckeye Challenge coin as a small token of appreciation and friendship. Thank you.
Come on up.
Thanks for all you guys do. Really appreciate it.
Oh, wait, want to get a picture? Do you want a picture?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Smile. Oh, models.
Oh, maybe not Mike.
She's always so kind to everyone. She's taking pictures of you.
Exactly. You got it here, good. Very cool.
Got a bird holding that in your hand, doesn't it?
It does burn.
All right. Next, we'll start with you, Mr. McLean. How about you got any local achievements or recognitions?
Actually, I'm thinking, I don't at this moment, apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Counselor Link?
Yes, just a quick one. I want to recognize, most people know about this, but the Beta Beach condo had their ribbon cutting
Yeah.
this month. Yeah. And the Kahlua Beach Club as well. That was on June 6th and 10th. And then Big Carlos Pass is doing their celebration at the end of the month. So we just want to all welcome them back into their homes.
Very good. Counselor King?
I'll echo that and then add, sorry, I was in a side conversation, but congratulations also to the Hotka family for the groundbreaking on their Access 26. That was nice to see so many people there and so many businesses that came out and supported them as well.
Vice Mayor Safford?
I want to echo that as well. I think one of the greatest things that we do as council people is go to these groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, and it's just been fantastic. This has been going on so many in the last couple of weeks, and the island's coming back. That's a great thing.
Very true. There's so many of them, we can't get to all of them, unfortunately. But that's a good problem to have. I've got just a few things. First, we want to wish Jeff a happy birthday. Today is his actual birthday, so happy birthday. Yeah. Also coming up on the 21st is Will's birthday, so happy early birthday, Will.
Happy birthday.
And speaking of the 21st, I'd be killed if I didn't say happy anniversary to my wife on the 21st. It's coming up.
Happy anniversary.
She was dumb enough to say I do before I got on council, so sorry for your loss. And then last but not least, congratulations to Abby for winning Florida's Miss Florida America.
Wow. Congratulations.
You want to take a speech or no? You're okay?
Just give us the clean way.
Can we try your crown on?
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Are you guys ready? UCF, you guys ready? We'll go back to the presentation. Okay. You tracked everybody down.
So good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
I think we both left between 5:30 and 5:45 this morning from our respective houses, and we know how that goes coming from further north. So thank you, Angela Chris, Director of Florida Institute of Government at USF, and Tina Fisher with us from SBC Collaborative Labs. Good morning. So I can't believe we're here. Very exciting. It's been a long process, but we just want to briefly take you through where we are. We have some great information. You guys have put in the work, your communities put in the work, and so we're moving into the next phase. Maybe. So just really quickly, I just want to share with you what we're going to go over today. I'm going to talk a little bit just of the overview and methodology, a very brief summary of the first two phases of the project. If you recall, there's three phases. The third is the actual implementation phase, where we've settled on vision and mission and core values and guiding principles, looking at your strategic themes, goals, objectives. Tina will talk a little bit about the strategic plan launch. That's that phase 3, looking at your prioritized goals, and then just some final closing thoughts that we have. So I always like to start out with, I just think it's good as a foundation. When we started this process quite a while ago, I think it's been almost a year and a half now, we started with the foundation of the strategic plan framework, but also looking at some definitions. And so just like to kind of share those with you as a reminder in terms of the things that we were focused on, the outcomes that we wanted to get to. And so we are, if you look down, we are at that point of those action plans. And so that's really where the rubber hits the road, and this next phase is extremely important. But we did want to provide you with this diagram. You can see it's cyclical, and we have done such a wonderful job. We, and I say we, because we have truly been your partners in this. It's been your community. It's been your input, your stakeholders. But we feel like we know your community and now are a part of it. So we appreciate that. Okay, just very quickly, I just want to also reiterate the process we used. I think it's very important. A lot of times in strategic planning, there's different ways of conducting it. And we have felt our teams, and we appreciate that you as elected officials have felt this way as well, that our methodology was critically important, that it be participatory, that it is inclusive of stakeholder feedback and input, and that there were various ways to engage. We also used a consensus building approach. And then we were also content driven. And so I just want to clarify that every time we collected data, we used that data for the next step of the process. So it wasn't as if the data was siloed. We made sure that once we had gathered information from the stakeholder interviews, we used that in the resident feedback survey. Information we got from the resident feedback survey, we then used in the community forums and so on and so forth. So again, the methodology was very participatory, very content driven, and again, looking to come to a common vision and mission for the town. As you'll see here, we've completed phase 1 and phase 2, and now we're going into phase 3. Okay, so just very briefly, what you were provided to, I guess, last week maybe, was the community report. There's going to be 2 reports. You have the community report in front of you, which is a smaller report. Then probably in the next week or 2, you will have a full data report. And so that data report will include every single real-time record that we have completed, all the data, the resident survey, the employee survey. But what you have today is the community report going over all of this. So I don't want to dive too deeply into this, but this is really just a friendly reminder. Again, for phase 1 and phase 2, information is still on the website. We held the stakeholder interviews. We had a kickoff with you guys. We had a resident survey. We had the first community forum. We started to see some key strategic emerging themes that began to rise as we conducted Community Forum 2. We engaged your employees through a survey as well as through an employee forum. We met with all of you for Leadership Forum 1, Leadership Forum 2. We spent a lot of time with Will and his leadership staff and Tracy, and really were able to flesh out from your direction some concrete goals and objectives. Next slide, please. So here's where we settled. And again, this is your vision for your town, a thriving, eclectic coastal community where you can safely live, prosper, and enjoy island life. Your mission, the town of Fort Myers Beach serves and protects our coastal community by fostering safety, sustainability, and economic vitality. Well done. I'm not going to read through all of these. You can obviously see them. But again, these core values came through all of the data we collected along with your guidance. And so these are those non-negotiable behaviors that you as elected officials, that your community members, that your employees, this is something that you all will hopefully follow. And it's stewardship, accountability, mutual respect and civility, transparency, preservation, and resiliency. Again, here are your 5 strategic themes. You ended up with 18 goals and 44 objectives. And within those 5 strategic themes, infrastructure, leadership, communications, community and economic development, and then environmental sustainability. Next slide, please. Very high level. Again, under each strategic theme, there were specific goals. So you can see infrastructure and leadership. Infrastructure, really looking at adaptable and capable systems, being innovative, accessible, and efficient mobility. A lot of discussion around mobility options. And then over and over we heard, and so this is one of the goals is well-lit and safe town-owned streets and sidewalks. We know that's important to your residents. That is in there. In terms of leadership, spent a lot of time looking at the data. And so we heard a lot. And so your goals, recruitment and retention, looking at workforce development, organizational effectiveness, and then succession planning. We heard that quite a bit from you as elected officials and from all the data. And again, communications, I don't think, I think the data we collected and where you settled, these are excellent. Again, expanding community engagement, being transparent and responsive, as well as obviously emergency management services, part of who you are and what you do. Community and economic development. This one was really interesting, and I think your goals here really represent, I think, your vision as well as where you want to go and maintaining also that island life. So when you talk a lot about these goals, you see economic growth through business development and year-round tourism, having an effective short-term rental program, supportive redevelopment decisions for your thriving, resilient island community, and then being stewards of community assets. And what does that look like? And then obviously, last but not least, environmental sustainability. And so again, resilience as it relates to the shoreline, storm surge mitigation, and then canal and waterway management. So I'm not going to go through all of these. These are in the community report. I'm happy to answer questions, but just so you can see, each theme has a definition, and the definition is at the top, followed by a goal and an objective. And that is for all of the strategic themes. I just briefly went over the goals for you, and you will see. So community and economic development, and the last one, environmental sustainability. So that is where we are right now in the process. I'm going to turn it over to Tina, and she's going to talk a little bit about phase 3. So first, before we do that, I really want to say thank you to all the residents that participated. Couldn't have done it without you, and also to all of you. And so give yourselves a round of applause. This was a heavy lift, really a heavy lift. So great job. But now the hard work really begins. And Tina's gonna work with you through the implementation.
Thank you, Angela. Tina Fisher, Collaborative Labs at St. Pete College. I want to reiterate what Angela was saying. Thank you all for those of you who participated in the process, whether it was a survey, a community focus group, any of the convenings that you came to observe and participate in, and for reading the information on the strategic planning website. This was an incredible process, and I'm excited for the next stage. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is implementation. So as we know, the strategic plan is a live document. As we move forward, we are focused on the goals that were prioritized. So let me see. Next slide, please. There we go. All right, so we are entering phase 3. So this is where we launch the strategic plan. So we now, Town of Fort Myers Beach, you have a strategic plan that's super exciting. So now it's time to get to work and develop our action plan fully so we can make sure we're starting to collect the data, start working towards our goals, and showing our success metrics. So the first thing is in implementation planning is structure. So best structure and systems to organize and support our work. So we want to make sure that we're tracking our data accurately, that we start with baseline of data so we know where we're starting from, so we can show that we have leveled up and improved. And this includes meeting, reporting, frequency. How often are we going to report on the information? How are we going to do that, or what meetings we're going to do? So that's something that we will talk about in implementation planning, which will start in July. And then the second is information repositories, making sure we have the right platforms and the dashboard. And I know that you implemented your software, so that's going to be a huge help because it links to the prioritized goals, which is amazing. So everybody on council and in the community will be able to see the metrics for those goals. So that's very transparent, and that's part of your guiding principle. So that's fantastic. Next, we have the review the action plan. So the action plan is pretty built out right now. The leadership team, I commend you. You've done a lot of work with your focus areas and with your functions and adding detail of the actions. But now we're going to go back and just hone it a little bit, make sure it is the right action items, that nothing was missed, that we have the right success metrics. Because if we're going to collect data, we have to be able to collect data in order to say that we've measured and improved it. So it's just a refinement period, implementation planning, and then start moving forward. So a lot of towns and cities, they will say, what are we going to do in the next 100 days? So we might say next 100 days, we might say next 6 months, and that's what we'll report on to you so that you'll see we're making progress towards these goals. All right, and then the last, of course, we talked a lot about success metrics, just making sure we really understand and we define what they mean and that they're truly measuring what we want to measure. So we're not just randomly collecting data, but we actually have stuff that makes a difference and will show progress. So, and at the bottom, you'll see kind of the implementation planning. You have your action tasks. the research and the planning, you have the budget and resource alignment, because as you know, you have things like the bridge loan that we have to take into consideration. We have other funding sources. So we want to make sure that these goals and objectives are in line with your budget. So they kind of go hand in hand all the way through. And then the implementation plan, that's of course marketing and accountability, making sure we're reporting out not only to council, but to the community so everybody knows we're moving forward through the plan. And then the last is the progress updates and the communication. Next slide, please. Oh, got it. All right. So in our last convening, we did have to narrow it down. As you heard from Angela, we have 18 goals. That's a lot of goals. So we need to prioritize on what are we going to do first. So we have, through process of consensus, selected 4 goals. The first one is goal A1, robust, adaptable, and capable infrastructure systems. So that's one of the ones we're going to focus on when we do our implementation planning. The second one is C1, transparent, responsive, and thank you, inclusive communication and leadership. And then we have D1, economic growth through business development and year-round tourism, and then E2, storm surge mitigation. So those are the 4 goals that we're going to really focus on the next 6 months as we start our implementation planning. As we go through the implementation planning and I work with the leadership team and we're talking about success metrics, the other goals and objectives are still moving forward because a lot of them do start in 2026, 2027, and so forth. And so we'll use the 4 prioritized goals as an example, and the other ones will also follow suit and start having progress on them as well. But these are the ones that we're definitely going to make sure that we're moving forward and have the correct success metrics. Next slide. All right, so when we're reporting, there's 10 dashboard elements that we want to make sure we keep in mind. The first one is increase transparency and instill confidence in the right areas. The second is the best dashboard supports and better decisions. So we don't collect data just for the heck of collecting data. We really want to make sure it informs our decisions, which is why we go back and we do have an action plan. Your team developed an action plan, but we want to make sure we have the right data and we're collecting it for a good purpose. Number 3 is information is quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative meaning counting how many items are in a room or what's happening. Qualitative is more comments, what opinions are, perceptions. Both are taken into account. Number 4 includes information and outcomes you can manage. Number 5 is 5 to 6 goals with 1 to 3 measures per goal. So we can't do all 18 goals again right off the bat in 2026, which is why we narrowed it down to 4. Information needs to be accessible, which you're doing that already with the implementation of the software. Number 7, show citizens how we're performing in long-term goals and outcomes. Again, that's the transparency core value that we talked about. Number 8 is comparative data against other counties, states, and the nation. So we definitely want to make sure that we're tracking with other beach towns as we move forward in our goals. Number 9, allow citizens to know how and where to engage, because this, like Angela showed at the beginning, it's a cyclical process. Strategic planning is not something that we create it, we say, yay, we're done, and we move forward. We have to reevaluate it through periods and times and legislature, and so we want to make sure that we keep the citizens engaged in that process as well. And then the last, of course, is ensures accountability. So those are the top 10 ideal dashboard elements. Next slide. All right, and so I wanted just to hear from you. I have 2 questions for you. So the value of our strategic planning journey, if you would push next. The first question is, just from each of you, I would love to hear what top discoveries or ahas have you had on our strategic planning journey? I know some of you are kind of newer in the process, but you've seen what we had with the stakeholder interviews that Angela did, with the community convenings that we had and the focus groups. Any discoveries or ahas did you have during this journey with us?
Councilor King?
I would just say the whole process. It was interesting and fascinating to be a part of all of it. So, and thank you for your time and both your efforts for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council Link?
I would have to agree. So Angela, I don't have any ahas. Our community is pretty vocal, and those of us here on the mayor's laughing. But these are things we know, we hear them, and we thank you for helping us bring this together. So I'm not sure I have an aha
Yeah.
moment, just an appreciation that we are moving in this direction.
Vocal means passion.
This is passion. I have passion on this one, and I think our community's going to like seeing what we're doing.
Yes.
Councilor McLean?
I think the biggest aha moment was the fact that through a pretty rigorous process, I think we actually really nailed the vision across the community. I really think I'm almost surprised that the rigor didn't somehow make it too narrow and focus it. And in fact, instead, it seemed like it was the vision and mission, especially, were things that I think will guide the community very, very well. And then, of course, to your point, you can't do everything. And collaboratively, and even though I wasn't part of the leadership committee at the very beginning, I participated in every single one of those sessions.
Yeah.
And it was just a really great learning experience. And I thank you for it.
Oh, thank you. Glad to have you participate.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Yeah, Tina and Angela, thank you so much for all your help. But my aha moment was how focused we were. And it seemed like we were together from the very get-go. And I think a lot of it had been Big H for it, but I think we're all on the same path. It was, I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult, but it came together so well. And I want to thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo what everybody else has said. I guess for me, the aha moment was after years and years and years, it seems like, of storms and comp plans and strategic planning. The aha moment was, oh, we're almost to the end. No, I'm just kidding. The big aha moment, I think, for me was one of the last meetings when the community was able to see that there's going to be a dashboard that they can follow along, that it's not going to be just the council that will be, holding staff accountable to achieve these goals, but they'll be able to follow along in real time as well and help everybody stay accountable for what was a lot of time and effort put in by, the council, the staff, the community, you, Angela. So thank you for this.
You all have a phenomenal leadership team. This is one of the best teams, and Angela, I think you would agree, we've had this conversation, that we've ever worked with town leadership. So thank you to your dedication to your town, for the insights, your expertise, and your experience. You bring a lot to the town, and I think it shows when you see the action plan, all the details that went into it, for sure. All right, hit next again. I have the last question here. So we have a strategic plan now. So I'm curious about what benefits you see, because I know it's one of those things sometimes we say, check the box, we did a strategic plan, but it's so much more than that. So I just want to see from your perspective, what are the benefits of having a strategic plan, to have gone through this process, taken this time, spent the money, and now you have this goals, these vision, mission.
Scott, we'll start with you. Maybe. Scott, you there?
He's speaking, but we can't
He's
hear him.
speaking, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Now we can, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Echoing what you said, Mr. Mayor, we have that data in a lot of these strategic plans, a lot of planning and corporations. You just do this plan and stick it on the shelf. But I honestly think with our leadership team, we're going to be looking quarterly at how we're doing. So I think it's great that this strategic plan is actually going to be an action plan. And that's my biggest takeaway from this. I'm looking forward to hitting these goals, hitting these visions, and moving forward.
Councilor McLean?
Yeah, so I think the biggest benefit is that it is going to guide all of the activities that occur from our town staff, as well as how we as council view the initiatives that are required. I know that when we were doing Will's review, and hence, quite frankly, it's the entire staff review, the areas that I put down, at least as part of the initiatives that he could focus from, came exactly word for word from the strategic plan work that we had done and the major initiatives and goals that we had identified. And I think that consistently implemented throughout the town and being measurable and being a cyclical process that continues to build will really help govern the activity, the actions, and our focus points. So,
You bring up a really great point, because the commitment that we need from y'all is to make sure when you do start developing your agendas in the future, that you make sure that they're in alignment with the goals and the objectives and the action plan, which we had that discussion. So that's part of the implementation planning process, is not with the leadership team and the actions and the success metrics, but also with y'all making sure that you're in alignment with the goals, which I think you are so closely tied to them, and we're so closely involved in the development of the goals that they're front and center. So I think it'll be helpful.
Council Lake?
Yes. So I'm going to always say the same thing anywhere I go, and it is metrics, metrics, metrics. In my opinion, you don't fix or cannot fix something that you don't measure. So that is the critical part to me. I'm so thankful that we went through this process that involved the community into it as well. We can sit here and say what we think. That's not why we're here. So to pull the community in, to continue to pull the community in, because strategic plans are only as good as we follow them, and we're open to modifying them as needed. Didn't our life change on September of 2022? So having it be a living document, having everyone come together and determine what we should focus on, and then decide to measure it, that doesn't mean we're not going to work on things that aren't in the plan, but everyone can and should know that these are our areas of focus, and you helped us choose them. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And to the point of the metrics, I also want to put this out there. Implementation planning and the metrics is a collaborative process. So as we develop these success metrics and you review them, you can say, yay, this is telling the story, or I need more information. So it's going to be a give and take, and it's going to be a transformative process as far as what's on the dashboard, because what we think we're going to start collecting at the beginning to match the action items may transform as we realize, hey, that's not really telling the true story. We need to collect something else, or we need to collect something in addition to. So thank you in advance for your patience and understanding as we work together to figure out what these exact success metrics are.
I would like to add one thing to that, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, Angela. And I've told this to Will and Tracy before, and thank them for all their help in this, is that as a counselor, I will always support funding that helps us do our measuring better. That happens behind the scenes. It's a painful thing to spend money on things that you can't see in the public, but I will always support those decisions if they are helping us do the things we've committed to do. So I just wanted to put that out there. Sometimes we're going to be measuring things and we're going to be doing it by hand or by spreadsheet. The more we can integrate that so that it's not a cumbersome task is going to get better and better. That doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's true. And the leadership team there, when we were meeting with them last for the leadership forum and we were articulating the final parts of the action plan and the metrics, their wheels were turning. They're like, oh, we can collect data here. We can use AI here. So they were already, they're tracking with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Advanced digital tools.
Advanced agentic tools, yes.
Councilor King?
I guess I would ditto what Vice Mayor Safford had to say. I'll mention a couple of folks that aren't part of the process anymore, but helped get it underway. Karen Woodson and Andy Hyatt, they both had a passion around this. They didn't want it just to be something that sat on a shelf somewhere and collected dust. And I know the Deputy Town Manager Kohler has picked up on that passion, as well as the Town Manager McCannay has as well. So that's it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just mirror that. I think, that, the top benefit is that what you just said, John, that it's everybody's kind of going in the same direction. Everybody wants this to be not just a plan, but an action item that everybody in the community could follow along and ensure that it's getting done. It's actually something that you could point to and say this is getting done or it's not getting done. Here's where we've got to improve to make sure that these goals are getting achieved. So I know my former colleague, Vice Mayor Adderholt, was not a huge fan of the process and going through it. but again, he was one also that was involved in getting us to this
Yeah.
point. So thank you, Tina and Angela, for your work.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
could change his mind.
I don't
It
know
could
about
change
that.
his mind. You never know. I don't know. People
I think
surprise
what will
you.
change his mind is if it actually gets implemented and
Mhm.
actually gets used and it doesn't just sit on a shelf somewhere. So that was the
Yes.
big key takeaway.
The last announcement, and I already shared with y'all, but maybe you might have not heard this, but our visual illustrations, the full color that you'll see on the website, we are presenting those to you. We have a couple more tweaks to make, but there are 4 visual illustrations that represent the process from beginning to end from our illustrator, Jonathan. So coming in July, I'll be able to hand that to y'all. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great.
All right, Angela, last slide. I think we have one last slide. Yes.
Just like to always end on quotes. And so I just thought that these were very apropos for this process. And so stay committed to your decisions, but stay flexible in your approach. It's the end you're after. And I think that is so telling for this process that we've been through and we've heard. And then the last one is write your goals in concrete and your plans in sand. So it has been a pleasure. I am still around. I am still part of it, but she is taking you through the implementation. Yes, we are a tag team. So any questions, we're happy. But again, very pleased. I hope you are as well with where you are at this stage. So
All right.
A round of applause.
yes, great job.
Well, thank you, ladies, and have a safe trip back across the pond. All right, next is our advisory committee items, reports, and appointments. Our first item is an appointment of the members to the fiscal year 26 Anchorage Advisory Committee. There are 4 open seats and, well, 2 people applying for 4 open seats. Is there? Oh, I've got 4 boxes. That's probably why I said that.
Oh, don't scam me with the form.
Scott, do you have your sheet or you just, how do you want to have Scott do it? Just announce it or?
Yes.
Is that how you want me to do it? That's
Yeah.
however you want.
You have the names in front of you so you know?
I do, sir.
Okay.
That's right. Secret.
Why don't you go ahead, Scott, and give us your names.
Are they here?
Oh, well, actually, before that, yeah, is anybody here for that? I see Bill's here. You want to come
I'd
and
like
say,
to hear from them.
you want to come and say a few words? You don't have to, but it's up to you.
Thank you, council. Bill Green, I live Mid-Island, part of the Holiday Heights neighborhood, Williams Drive area. I'm a Navy veteran. Last 15 years, I've been Chief Development Officer of a maritime services company that supports the Navy, NOAA, and the EPA. We have about 80 boat captains, have a lot of experience with the marine environment. Interestingly enough, we do permitting for NOAA for the Florida Keys. So we do not work with the Fisheries Service, which is St. Petersburg that's doing our pier, but it's still the same NEPA guidance. So I look forward to hopefully making a difference. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Let's see. Go ahead, Scott.
I'll look for Dan O'Leary and Bill Green.
Very good.
Okay. John McLean, excuse me. Sorry, Dan O'Leary and Bill Green. Mayor Allers is Dan O'Leary and Bill Green. Councilmember Link is Dan O'Leary and Bill Green. And Councilmember John King is Dan O'Leary and Bill Green. So that's 5 votes for each Dan O'Leary and Bill Green.
Okay, council, is that, John, is that your vote?
It is.
Counselor Link,
Yes.
Counselor King,
Yes.
Scott, you said yours, so I assume mine is as well. You want a motion then, obviously? Is there a motion to approve Mr. O'Leary and Mr. Green to the AAC?
As the liaison
Appoint.
for the AAC, I want to welcome these two fine examples of volunteerism to our advisory committee. Well done.
Second.
Okay, motion by Counselor McLean, seconded by Counselor King. Any further discussion?
Just thank you for willing to step forward and be a part of this. Thanks, Bill.
All right, there's no other discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next, we have an appointment for the fiscal year Bay Oaks Recreational Board Cab Committee. There's 2 open seats and 3 members of the community that have offered to step up. Scott, you want to make your selection?
Oh, can we hear
Oh,
from them?
hold on. Thank you, Beth.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Yeah. Anyone want to come up and say anything? I see I think all 3 of you are here, right? Stina here? I don't see.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy birthday, Jeff. Marcia Sgasny. I live on Andre Mar. I'm volunteering to join the board because I have a 12-year-old son, and we don't have a whole lot of representation for the younger families. And if we want to try to draw the younger families, I think we need to have more implementation at Bay Oaks. Right now, we have a lot of people that represent the older population, but I think we need to have somebody has a child that grew up here, went to beach school. He's now at Sanibel, staying with the island life. But I think Bay Oaks has the potential to draw more children, and you guys fighting for the school, I think they go hand in hand. So.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Bev, you want to say anything?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Deb.
I'm Beverly Milligan. I just want to say that I'm very passionate about Bay Oaks. We are not only a neighbor of Bay Oaks, we've supported Bay Oaks, and I think this is a time in the evolution of Bay Oaks where I think I could contribute some expertise that I've developed over the years, both in being very, very involved in the nonprofits and as a volunteer on many committees and involved in community everything. I think this is a time that I both understand the community and with my professional background, I think I could help out. So thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, Scott, go ahead.
Tina's
Go ahead.
not here?
I don't see her.
Okay.
We have to
Oh,
vote. We have to vote.
Collect first.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on, Scott.
Yeah,
I'm
we
jumping the gun here.
Yeah, sorry, I got you on mute. I'm right next to Times Square.
I didn't hear what he said.
I didn't either. Can't help you on that one.
He's right beside Times Square, so it's noisy.
Oh, got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Scott can go first.
Go ahead, Scott.
I vote for Bev Milligan
And who?
and Tina Yell.
Gina.
Okay. Mayor Allers is Marcia, Sgasny and Tina Yelly. Councilmember King is Beverly Milligan and Tina Yelly. Councilmember Link, Marcia Sgasny and Tina Yelly. And Councilmember King is Beverly Milligan and Tina Yelly.
Where's mine?
Did you say McLean?
I'm sorry, John McLean, Beverly Milligan and Tina Yelly.
Thank you.
I said everybody's votes, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, so with 5 votes is Tina Yelly And then we have a tie, or no, we don't. I'm sorry, I can't see that.
No.
Beverly Milligan with 3 votes. Marcia Skasny with 2. So your top 2 are Tina Yelly and Beverly Milligan. Does that reflect your votes?
Scott, does that reflect your vote?
Yes.
Counselor McLean?
Yes.
Counselor Link?
Yes.
Counselor King?
Yes.
And I'm an aye as well. Is there a motion to approve Tina Yelly and Beverly Milligan to the Board Cab Committee?
So moved.
A motion by Counselor King,
Second.
second by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. All right, next we have
Three fine
Jennifer.
candidates.
What's that?
3 fine candidates.
Absolutely. Next, we have two advisory committees here. First, we got Jennifer Rusk giving a report for Murph. Come on up, Jennifer.
Good morning again. Jennifer Rusk for the record, Murph Vice Chair. Get my paperwork in order. Well, since I'm wearing my Turtle Time shirt, I might as well give you an update report. As that for Turtle Time update, 57 nests, 119 false crawl. Actually, no, I take that back. 120 false crawls. We had one in front of Lonnie Kai this morning. She crawled up and she started to nest, and it's actually called an abandoned egg chamber. So you can actually see the hole where she dug, but she never laid her eggs. And then also one update, Lee County Tourism received 400 of the children's books for festivities. And I'd also like to comment on the gardening club. Will be at Bay Oaks tomorrow morning to do some gardening. So I'm excited about that. I'm also really excited to hear that the Shrimp Festival is going to be there. I really hope that other festivals, local festivals, will, go back to Bay Oaks and support our resources. And then I'm going to read a report. I'll be reading this report prepared by Chair Nussbaum. And it has, Murph passed 3 motions to bring to you, and you requested us to work on the taxi ferry service. So I'm giving you an update on that. Murph Committee was charged with recommending guardrails for any discussion or potential development of water ferries or taxi services for Fort Myers Beach. Water ferry is defined as a regular passenger route, while taxi service is moving passengers from specific destinations to specific destinations. These guardrails apply to both. Any questions in regards to the water taxis or ferries?
Don't think so.
No questions, okay. Speed, so in regards to that, speed, what we're recommending is that all permitted operators should follow all posted speed zones. Speed zones on the Back Bay should be monitored and strictly enforced. Parking, adequate parking for those using any service is critical. Schedule, a seasonal schedule was recommended that it would be from January to March, may be desirable for startup. Northern taxi/ferry services may wish to transfer assets for the season. Licenses and permits. All operators must have necessary licenses to operate a shuttle, ferry/taxi service from the federal, state, county, or municipal government bodies. Any questions? All good?
Thank you.
I'll move on to the second motion. In addition, the Murph Committee is recommending that the Town Council begin seeking more environmentally friendly pyrotechnic displays such as drones or fireworks using less harsh chemicals and resulting residue for any future firework displays. The goal is to protect the animals and waters of the Back Bay. Any questions? Move on to the third motion. The MRF committee is also requesting the town council ask the town staff to be more vigilant in identifying and enforcing regulations, specifically those keeping job sites clear of debris. This includes open air dumpsters, which attract insects, rats, and allows garbage to be thrown by the winds. Any questions?
Okay, Scott, you got any questions for Jennifer?
I do not. Jen, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Counselor McLean?
No, I don't. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Counselor
Thank
Lane?
you.
No, I don't, Jennifer. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Counselor King?
Why is it called a false crawl when they actually crawl?
That's actually a really good question. So it's a crawl regardless. She comes up onto the beach and she makes her way to, find the perfect place for her to nest. Sometimes that she doesn't find it, or sometimes she's disoriented by lights, or sometimes people are out there, or she doesn't like the sand. I mean, there's so many different
So
reasons.
it's more like a non-nesting crawl.
Correct. Yeah, but we call it a FC, which is false crawl.
They call it near misses when planes almost hit too, but it's a near collision.
That's an interesting correlation.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. You all have a nice day and make good decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have from Bay Oaks, we got Michelle Turney. Come on up.
I'm back. I started off saying, I took over for Barbara Hill. They ended up nominating me unanimously to come on this.
Raise that mic up for us, Michelle.
This is my first time up here, and I will dedicate that I will continue to come up. I hear a lot of talk lately about what our jobs are. Well, I'll tell you the number one job that you get that's not written down is that the community does come to you. When you're on these boards, the community comes to you. And if you know me, I play pickleball every day. So I'm out there every day and I get feedback. So I am passionate about Bay Oaks and I'm going to push. So you heard a little bit earlier, I'm so excited. We now have 5 huge events coming to Bay Oaks. We've got the 4th of July parade. We've got the Sands and Suds. We have the Glow by the Gulf. We have the Shrimp Festival, which we announced today. And we're working on pickleball tournaments, leagues, different things. There's so many events coming to that island. It's going to increase awareness. It's still crazy. I still get people going, I've never heard of Bay Oaks. Where is it? And it's getting the word out where we are. These events are going to bring residents to our island. And now it's time to work on the next steps. In the last group meeting, we put out a strategic plan, which each individually, everybody gave input from the community. And I'm here to kind of talk about some of that feedback that came back. We have so much potential out there. Thank you. We're getting the grass in the irrigation. That is going to be huge out there. That's the first step. I talked about the power earlier. We've got the original power. They need power. The Bay Oaks, the wellness, for example, if you attended the last one, there was booths that couldn't do it. They've got big electric massage chairs they need to plug in. We need power, period. I think nobody will disagree with that. We've got Joy reported, the landscaping. That's great. We got grass. That baseball diamond looks like $1 million. Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
Why can't we put that resources into the rest of the park? Pull the weeds, plant the grass. There's a big area that's got all that landscaping rock. Use the resources and clean up the rest of the areas. The Lions Club brought to my attention, they've got volunteers. They've got them through school. The schools are required, the kids are now required to do volunteer work. They can throw a bunch of them at us. So if we can't do it with our sources, there's volunteers, and I know the community would jump in and help clean it up. But it needs to be cleaned up. We've got the repaving. I know money's an issue. These are the things that as a group, if we can agree on what needs to be done, if the town doesn't have the funding, when you're going through your budgeting right now, tell us what you got funded and tell us what we don't have funded. We'll raise the money. Friends of Bay Oaks is going to come behind there. I'm going to bring this up again. This is the number one. There's a theme going on here, increase revenue, increase awareness, increase revenue. We get revenue, we have the money to pay for the expenses. This FOB system, I'm here, I've been told, they figured out how to work it. and it's illegal. Nancy, I'm here to challenge you. What is it going to take to get a fob system so that people can go in that facility after hours?
I don't think it's illegal. I have not really heard of it, but I will get with staff and find out where it is and we'll bring it back to you.
Okay. That will not only drive memberships up, it will bring people into the facility. We have a lot of people that are working. They still work. We're not all retired. They want to get in that gym in the morning. They don't want to go off island, and you can do it at all the other gyms. So I know staff's got the quotes for it. You can get it in the back access. That is like a huge win. People, I'm telling you, you'll get more thank yous if you just get that fob system and let people use that gym. The pickleball courts. We have got, through Friends of Bay Oaks, they have got a volunteer that will give us 4 additional courts paid for. It's been on staff's report. Location, where we're going to put it, we don't know. Are we going to get the school? Are we not going to get the school? That's a huge donation. And we've got more donations that'll continue to come through. The pool design. So we challenged out, we took each of us individually, went with staff to the pool. If you know John, John Dessler knows pools inside out. He gave so many great recommendations that he's come back. He's talked about, using PVC membrane versus the traditional plaster in the pool. Huge long-term savings. Entry area and slide optimizations. Lights. Let's get lights in that pool so that it's empty right now. Yeah, it's a little bit additional expense, but then you can do night events. We can have parties. We can get income. We can use that facility at night. So the pool, lockers, we need lockers. They got to lock things up. So this committee came back with and this is just a few of the highlights through this group. We want to be actively involved in these designs and this feedback. And it's not just the ones that are sitting up there. We're listening to the community and coming back. That's our job. And we want to do that. And then behind there, you got the Friends, which is going to come in with the funding. Everybody wants Bay Oaks back. Again, I'm going to go back to revenue. Partnerships. Sell the naming rights to the pickleball courts. Huge income. Pickleball is huge. People look at it and they go, oh, I want to go stay at Margaritaville Resort. I want to go stay at Pink Shell. Where are the pickleball courts? There are more Margaritaville bikes as many people drive there. Pink Shell, they come down and play. Sell the naming rights. Silver Sneakers. Does everybody know what Silver Sneakers is? We're still waiting for our approval in there. Again, every time somebody comes through that door, that's revenue. That's revenue. More additional wellness programs. We've got the wellness event planned, but don't put them here in the parking lot. Put them at Bay Oaks. Put the cancer checks. Put the blood drive. We've got the blood drive coming. Keep them coming. Collaborate with the large resorts. I was told that way back, and actually I think it was Bev that taught me this, is that you actually do like group memberships. So in other words, you go to an HOA and they buy 20 memberships. And then when people come in, they can use those memberships and go use the rec center. Again, it's a revenue generator that can help offset it. So I know the budgeting is coming. We know the funds are short. Tell us what you got budgeted. Tell us what you don't have, and we'll work on the rest. Staffing is tight. I understand that. We'll work with you. So let's work. This place, I'm so proud of this place. Let's take it to the next level. Thank you.
Scott, don't run off yet. Michelle, maybe there's a question. Scott, any questions?
That's a lot. So who are you thinking to sponsor the pickleball court? SpaceX, who do we got lined up?
To sponsor a pickleball court or for the donation? The naming rights? I have a couple, but I'm not going to say it right now.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks for all you do. Your passion is, it's incredible. Thanks so much, Michelle. We appreciate what you do day in and day out.
Councilor McLean?
Thank you for bringing solutions, bringing feedback from the residents, and giving us the vision that you have. It's very effective. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Councilor Link?
I agree, Michelle. Thanks for being here. One of the things that I commend you on is your passion and coming here. You have to stay in front of people all the time, and we'll work together. So thank you.
Councilor King?
Well, Vice Mayor Safford is usually stealing all my thunder today, so it's enjoy it while it happens. But Michelle, I agree. You're very passionate, and thank you for that. Tell me how we can join the Friends of Bay Oaks.
You can join, hold tight. We are coming out with the launch soon.
Okay. Look forward
The
to it.
first thing you can do is start by buying your charms. That'll be available in 2 weeks.
Great.
Yeah, there's a whole, we right now, What's Up FMB, we have partnered with What's Up FMB, and they have been fabulous. So we are right now in the process of setting up the entire website, all of the background, so that everything can flow. If the history of Friends of Bay Oak, when I started on Friends, I think I'm on my second year, that whole thing had died and nobody did anything with it. Matter of fact, I believe we had $25,000 sitting in the town account. That, how much? 15,000 sitting in the town account. Nobody had kept it active. It took us a while to get all the state and get it reinstated and everything going. We've gotten through that process. We've got some great committee members. We are working on, let me just say, some really big things, which we stay tuned, that are coming forth. They're all focused on raising funds for Bay Oaks.
I look forward to the opportunity to join. Thank you.
Yes.
Michelle, what everybody said, I mean, you and everyone on that committee has, your passion obviously shows. I got my start in public service on that same committee, so, or on the same board. So I share the same passion. It's sad, but it's encouraging to see that although the comments are still there, that people don't know that it's there, that there's now money that's coming through with CDBGR to help us get the pool and things going back in the parks, but also having the passion that everybody is bringing to that board. If there's one thing I could encourage you, I've been bringing it up I'm on the Horizon Council as well. That I think that would be a great avenue for someone from BORCAB to go and give a presentation. I've talked about it, about the space that's there, that's available for, and as Councilor Woodson could tell you, the Horizon Council it's a lot of the who's who in the economic Lee County world that are always looking for places to have events, and that would be a great place to maybe reach out and partner with some of those big corporations when you talk about naming rights and things like that. I'll continue to bring it up, but every month we have a meeting, and then they also have a general membership meeting where I think someone from BORCAB could go also and speak on behalf of Bay Oaks. And as long as the council doesn't, I don't have an issue with it. You guys are in the trenches every day, so it'd be nice to just try to reach out to Lee County to let them know. We talk amongst ourselves, but I don't think the broader Lee County community understands what this park is now versus what it was before the storm. So the potential's there, and I think you're going to see a significant increase of activity there from what you've already brought on. But
I will follow up on that and I will reach out to you. Thank you. We will
Absolutely.
take any angles, any direction to keep this expedited.
Perfect. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Mayor, can I just
Yes.
remind, we did when you all adopted your donation policy, we did include a section in there on naming rights. So that'll give you some guidelines of how to bring it back to council for their approval.
Then we shall get working on that immediately.
Before you go out, Michelle, what of all the things that you talked about, what is it that we can help you with in giving staff direction? What's the low hanging fruit that you see that we can help give staff direction to help get some of these things moving forward faster?
From the community, I have to say the FOB system first.
Okay.
I have to say that because there's so many people that are still working from home. It's hard to get off this island, and they work 8 to 5. You can't get in the facility. And even if you had to do it just for residents, let them have the gym. That is a big one that I would tell you, and that will bring memberships in. The second one is it's just not approachable. It looks terrible. I mean, I understand we're going to get all the grass there and get that done, but if we took one volunteer day and everybody brought a plant, we got 100 people and went through. Look at the entrance. I challenge you. Look at the entranceway where the gym is. When you come in, it looks terrible. You go around the rec center, there's weeds all over. But again, I look at the baseball diamond. It looks like $1 million. Spread the wealth throughout the rest of the facility. Make it, feasible. We see people like from Margaritaville on the bikes. They come all the time. They'll come in and it's kind of like, wow. But they see us playing, so they sit there. But we're sitting out there with these decrepit old green fences. Our courts are a little bit broken up. Our nets, we kind of like manage them. Like we had one broke the other day. I text Neil and I'm like, Neil, open the back door. We got to fix another net. We don't, the 4 courts are going to help. That was a huge help. But the whole facility just isn't approachable, and we as a community can make it look better.
Okay.
The silver sneakers, we just got to keep pushing that.
I think Jeff,
Yeah.
haven't you been involved in that pretty heavily?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
All
just keep it on the agenda.
So it is, if I could just add for the record, it is Resolution 26-102, and that's the one you want to follow.
I'll
Okay.
be working on it immediately.
I'm sure
Any
you
other
will.
questions?
That's it. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks.
All right, that brings us to our approval of the minutes. We have the management and planning from May 7th, 2026, and the town council meeting from May 18th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or any changes?
I'll move to approve as printed.
A motion by Counselor King,
I'll second.
second by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Our consent agenda has 3 items, all pertaining to states of emergency. We have Resolution 26-128 through 26-131 for the extension of local emergency Tropical Storm Debbie, Resolution 26-132 through 26-135 for the extension of local emergency for Hurricane Helene, and Resolution 26-136 through 26-139 for the extension of the local emergency for Hurricane Milton. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
A motion by Counselor Link,
Second.
seconded by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion?
None.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. We have nothing on the removed item list for the consent agenda, which brings us to our first public hearing. This is a legislative agenda item and is the second reading and final public hearing on proposed ordinance 26-09. This is an ordinance of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, amending Article 3, Division 3, Section 34-638 of the Land Development Code, creating a new exception to minimum setback requirements, reducing minimum setbacks to accommodate new Florida power and light requirements for platforms to locate and provide service to elevated electric meters, providing criteria and conditions for the permitted electric meter equipment and associated platform, access stairways and related structures, providing for clarifications as necessary, providing for conflicts of law, scrivener's errors, severability, and providing for an effective date. Jason?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nancy, do we need to get sworn in? I don't.
No, we are legislative.
Legislative.
We are not
Perfect.
quasi judicial right now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. So again, my name is Jason Smalley. I'm the senior planner for the town. Before you today is the second reading of the FPNL amendments to the existing code. Just to reiterate what was going on here, this was brought to you by staff. We had noticed that FPNL had been demanding some access. They're not explicit about what type of access, but generally they want some sort of elevated platform so that the meters, which are going to be elevated above the base flood elevation, can be accessed by their meter readers and their staff without having to climb up a set of ladders or something else provided by the actual employees. So this request here today would allow for an additional 3.5 feet into the side or rear setbacks. That would be in addition to the minimum required setbacks for the house. And so this protrusion would allow for an additional 3.5 feet into that setback on the side and the rear, just to accommodate the new platforms that are being requested by FPNL. If you'll remember, after the last meeting, there was some discussions about some scrivener's errors, which were dealt with in the code language, and there was some requests by the council specifically to disallow for entryways into these elevated platforms. So staff has gone back and added that language to specifically disallow any entrances into the home, current or in the future, to help tamp down any fears that this may eventually become additional habitable or usable space on the side of the house. Staff is here for any questions or concerns that you may have.
Okay. Councilor King, any questions for Jason?
Nothing.
Councilor Link?
I do, and it's regarding the entryway. I'm concerned, I see homes where they do have an entryway because it makes it serviceable and it makes it easier and less dangerous. So I'm wondering if we might be able to modify, and instead of saying you can't have serviceway into the home, we say that you can't expand maybe so many feet on either side of whatever equipment it is, so it doesn't turn into a porch. I hate to take a safety element away that I see people doing. And so do you have any thoughts on that, Jason?
So right now, they're allowed an additional 3.5 feet into there. I think the discussion was largely about what it could evolve into after the fact. Personally, in my opinion, I don't think there was much good idea brought up about how that might be integrated into the existing home. It's really just there as sort of an add-on thing. From what I understand, the intent was just to separate it from the habitable space, so there just wasn't a very easy way for them to expand that area into a breakfast nook or something of that sort. I do take your comments though, and your concerns on that one. I just don't see how giving them the additional 3.5 feet on that side allows them to, or would inhibit the quality of life or the use of the rest of the structure. If I'm not understanding your concern, maybe I could ask for a little bit more clarification.
I'm just wondering, from what I heard, it is, we will not allow them to have a doorway into the home. And I'm thinking that is safer. I mean, mine is now way up high. So it's safer for my AC guy. He goes out the door, he checks some Freon, he comes in. That's a lot safer than where my swale is and how he would have to have a ladder, and I'd be down there thinking about my insurance. So I'm just second guessing, do we want to say you cannot have a door? I tend to like that, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something there.
I think the reality is that most of the time these things are done on the repairs need to be done on an emergency basis. And I would think most people probably wouldn't be sitting around waiting for an FP&L. The FP&L really needs access in an emergency situation directly from outside the house. So I do take your point as far as safety getting out there. FP&L's safety measures, from what I understand, are addressed by having this platform out there rather than
How you get to it.
Right, exactly.
Thanks, that answers my questions.
Councilor McLean?
I actually appreciate the language that you added to address the access and expanding the uses, if you will, or potential to expand the uses. I just have a question about, we have homes that have, some homes that have 7.5 foot setbacks. If we're going to require, FP&L is going to require a 5-foot platform, if I'm understanding that right, then a 7.5 foot existing setback, you add 5 to that, that's 8.5. We're a foot over the setback. So I guess we just that wouldn't be an option for those homeowners the way this is written right now. Am I correct with that?
Absolutely. I think everybody needs to understand that this is not a silver bullet solution to every possible scenario. This is really staff asking council to allow for a little bit more flexibility to handle those people that maybe needed 2-3 feet to make this work. There will be some scenarios where somebody's come in and absolutely has to use the entirety of the 5 feet in the side yard to make this work for their particular structure and what FP&L is asking for. In those scenarios, What we've done is we've given them the ability to get that 3 feet. They would still, in that circumstance, need to come back and get a variance for the remaining 2 feet if they were left in that scenario. This isn't, something that we can address every possible scenario that might pop up. One thing that we did want to be conscientious of is not just the people that have the 7.5-foot setbacks, but those lots which actually have 5-foot setbacks. Thinking of the
Right.
parallelogram lots.
Yeah.
We wanted to ensure that we weren't automatically giving somebody the by right ability to go ahead and place portions of their home literally on the property line. So there's some allowance given to retain some amount of setback. On the 5-foot, we're only talking 1.5 feet in this scenario. But on the more standard 7.5 and 10-foot side yard setbacks, that's going to maintain at least some semblance of separation between neighbors.
That's a great explanation. Thank you for being thoughtful about it.
Of course.
Vice Mayor Safford.
That it makes sense now.
I don't have anything further. You covered what I had on my mind as well.
Excellent.
Thanks, Jason.
You're very
Public,
welcome.
public comment. Does anyone like to speak in public comment?
Good, Ryan?
Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Bring it back to the council. Is there any further discussion or a motion for ordinance 26-09 for FPL meter installation above FEMA required flood elevation?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recommend approval of ordinance 26-09 FPNL meter installation above FEMA required flood elevation.
All right, got a motion by Counselor McLean,
I'll second.
seconded by Counselor King. Any further discussion? Counselor McLean,
Aye.
Counselor King,
Aye.
Counselor Link,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. That brings us to our administrative agenda. The first item is a special event for Santini Farmers Market. This is a request for approval of a special event for Santini Farmers Market to be held every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday from October 2026 through May 2027 at Santini Marina Plaza located at 7205 Estero Boulevard from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as requested by Linda Miller of Shop Local Productions, including approximately 42 vendor spaces featuring produce, baked goods, food trucks, arts, crafts, boutique goods, and other local retail vendors, subject to further approval by the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District and Lee County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, and good morning, Council. For the record, my name is Nora Skipper. I am the Digital Marketing and Special Events Coordinator on behalf of the town of Fort Myers Beach. So before you today, I do not believe, is Linda Miller here today?
She's behind you.
So the applicant is here if you would like to ask any particular questions from them. But before you, we've been trying to, there's been many applications for this. So we've been trying to coalesce and all the requested dates into one application, which is before you today. So if you have any questions, obviously I'd love to be available to answer them. But if you'd like to ask questions of the applicant as well, you're more than free to do so.
The question I have for you, Nora, is have you heard from any of the property owners or the renters in Santini Plaza as opposed to food trucks or some of these other things interfering with their business? We heard public comment earlier, obviously about the Times Square area. Have you heard any concerns from the retailers in Santini Plaza about this?
I have not in particular heard anything from the businesses in Santini. I know generally there are letters of approval from the owners of Santini. In terms of the businesses, I've not heard any criticisms or concerns as of now.
I can speak to that, Mr. Mayor. It says, yes, we have received comments from some of the business owners down there on occasions. And myself and the community development director and the emergency services director, and when those conflicts have happened, we've reached out to the Millers. We've reached out to theirs. And to my knowledge, and Frankie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, each time it was addressed and it was, deconflicted. And in regards to other things that were mentioned this morning, with food preparation down there on site that was referred to this morning, that's a fire district ordinance. Regardless, the fire district is part of the permit approval process for each one of these that goes through. So unless you have any other questions for me on those issues.
Have any of the conflicts that you mentioned reoccurred, or has it been a one-off thing and it's been fixed, or do they rear their ugly heads over and over again?
They do come up. They came up numerous times this last season, but to my knowledge, each time, go ahead, Frankie. Yeah, Frankie will step up, but each time that I had either Tom or Frankie respond down there, there was either no conflict observed or it was immediately addressed by the event sponsors.
Good morning, Council. Frankie Kirkpatrick, Community Development Director. Yes, as you know, when we started this process 3 years ago, I tried to get down there every Friday to make sure that the Millers are okay and everything's happening
Get
fine.
down where, Frankie?
I'm sorry, down to the Times Square area.
We're talking Santini
Oh,
Plaza.
this is
here.
Santini.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says Santini? I'm sorry.
I was referring
Okay.
to the next. Hold my
Okay,
comments
yeah,
to the
I'm
next one.
specifically talking
Santini
about
Plaza,
Santini.
I would
Yeah,
say
Santini,
no.
we have not had
We've
any
had none.
problems to my knowledge, and
Okay,
I've gone
yeah.
down there, walked it
My
myself
mistake.
many
No,
times.
that's okay. You had me
So, yes.
concerned there for a second. Wait a minute.
No, no,
That's
no.
the
No,
first
no.
I've heard it.
I
Okay.
think I scared Linda too.
Yeah.
No issues. No
conflict
issues with Santini. No,
Okay, that's
no.
all that's the only questions I had. Councilor
Thank you.
King, any questions for Nora?
Nothing.
Councilor Link?
No.
Councilor McLean?
I'm good, thank you.
Vice Mayor Safford?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Linda, you want to come up and say a few words
Please. if you'd like
or answer any
to.
questions you may have?
It's a pleasure, really. It's better than an email.
Hey.
Gotta move up
Linda-
by the mic there.
Sorry, Linda Miller. You want a brief introduction?
Yeah, might as well for those that may not
Okay.
know who you are.
Yeah, for everybody that's new and all those out there. I don't like the limelight. I keep my head low. I worked for Home Depot, and you did too for a long time, but I keep my head low. I don't complain. I have numerous complaints that me and my husband complain about, but we don't bring the ugly head to your busy life. We have been running weekly, multi-day farmers markets since 2014 on Fort Myers Beach. We were displaced heavily from the hurricanes. We had 4 days a week prior to the hurricanes. They were all running great. We have, we're probably the only, except for the chamber, we are probably the only entity that brings more people to Fort Myers Beach than anybody except for maybe the chamber because of our daily, weekly, monthly advertising. We reached a peak this year. I sent Dan a screenshot. We did 849,000 views on Facebook in 1 month and another 500,000 on Instagram in 1 month. And that was in, I think, February or March. That is bringing tourism to Fort Myers Beach. That is benefiting every single hotel. That is benefiting every single restaurant, every single shop. It is benefiting the real estate market. We are bringing with this advertising, and it's costly and it's time consuming, but with this advertising, we are bringing people to Times Square, even though it has a broken down pier. A lot of the shops, several shops were closed after the hurricane and not reopened, and there are vendors with us now. So those people, displaced shop owners, are with us, like the Island Jewel, Gilliana Designs. Before the hurricane, we had Francesco's Pizza was a vendor, and he had a shop right in Santini. And he was so smart that he realized that he could sell pastries and meatball subs that he was well known for at the market and cover his rent at his store just with the markets and at a very affordable rate. We had at least seven restaurants in Santini before the hurricanes. And we go back to 2017, so 10 years. And before the hurricanes, not one single complaint at Santini Plaza, ever, even from the restaurants. So we have endured COVID, red tide. You see my wrinkly arms. That's from sun damage, from being out in the weather and the elements all the time. We are dedicated to procuring the most curated vendors out there. In fact, when you guys bring another event coordinator in, they're shopping my vendors and taking my vendors and trying to get them to go to their events at Fort Myers Beach. And our vendors will say, no, I'm not going there. We like Linda's management. We like our location. We like our prices. So we have a very good background of help supporting these small businesses and also supporting the community with advertising. So what questions can I answer for you?
Vice Mayor Safford, any questions for Linda?
No, Linda, I want to thank you. I mean, you do bring tourism to the island. We really appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you for your support.
Councilor McLean?
No, I want to thank you as well. And I know that especially Santini area, the existing retail and restaurants, et cetera, I've only heard supportive things. That it increases the foot traffic, it makes it better for everybody, lifts all boats. So
Absolutely. And Anita Saracita calls it Mad Tuesday because on Tuesday their sales double and there's people in their store all the time because we're attracting people to that shopping center. So you're absolutely right. And I thank you for that.
Councilor Link?
Yes. Do you by any chance prioritize someone who was previously there? I love the story about the gentleman who's doing sub meatballs. He already had a place in Santini and now he's, so he's still there. He's not taking away from himself. He would be there.
Well, he has retired.
Okay.
He's 6 months before the hurricane. Luckily for him, he sold. And he lives in Tennessee now. We still stay in touch. But yeah, he wonderful success story. Alderette was running Santini Plaza. The first thing Frankie did was he went up to Al and complained about the prices. Like, Linda raised the prices of the farmer's market and I can't do it. And Al said, you do what she tells you to do. You do what she tells you to do. And Frankie was the first one to pay, because he made good money out there. And it supported his business and it was good advertising to bring people to his store.
Thank you.
Councilor King?
I just would say that being at the extreme south end of the island, you can't get any further extreme south than me. It's a pleasure to go there and be part of the crowd. It's always entertaining to drive by and I love seeing the people there. So thank you.
Thank you, John King.
Only question I have is, can you grease the palms of Frankie, maybe get him to give us that tuna sub recipe he had? Because that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can work on that.
All right. I'm just kidding. Thanks, Linda. All right. Any other questions for Linda? Is there a motion for the special event for Santini Farmers Market?
I'll go ahead and move that, Mayor.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilor King, seconded by Councilor McLean. Any further discussion? Councilor King?
Aye.
Councilor McLean? Or I'm sorry, Councilor Link?
Aye.
Councilor McLean?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is the seeking approval of a special event for the Fort Myers Beach Market to be held every Friday and Saturday from October 2026 through May 2027 at Times Square, located at 1000 Estero Boulevard, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as requested by Linda Miller of Shop Local Productions, including approximately 42 vendor spaces featuring artisan crafts, boutique merchandise, handmade goods, specialty retail items, local art, and other locally sourced products, along with event setup, operations, and breakdown subject to further approval by the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District and the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Nora?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and long time no see. So with the Fort Myers Beach Market, Town Council on the 1st of June approved Danielle Lynch of Blue Ribbon Productions, who has some overlapping dates with that currently written in your motion. Those dates that were approved at the previous Town Council that overlap with this application is December 19th, January 23rd, and April 17th. Additionally, I wanted you to be aware of, and we heard this previously in the council, that the Fort Myers Beach Lions Club on the Shrimp Fest, although they submitted their application later than Linda Miller, does have an overlapping date on the 3/13, which would also impact the Shrimp Fest in terms of their request to have some booths and their application. We're still working on the details of it, but their request of Times Square from 9 to 5. So obviously I leave that to your direction, but if you have any further questions for me, in terms of the comments, we heard them from the wonderful town manager, as well as some people here. I leave that to your consideration. But that are the only details I have for you today. I've had no concerns from fire or LCSO as of this moment with the Times Square market.
Vice Mayor Safford, any questions for Nora?
So I'm a little confused now. I understand Shrimp Fest, but Nora, it seemed to me that you're saying that Shrimp Fest wants Times Square, but earlier in the council meeting, it was brought up that they don't want competition. Which one is it?
Yes, so basically they did not want the competition, so they submitted a separate special event permit to request Times Square on the 13th. They submitted that. They gave some details for a single booth and an attempt to request the Times Square be open, right, to prevent certain vendors or keep the space open for their availability while they plan Shrimp Fest throughout the year for the 2027 season. They submitted that to me, I believe, about a month ago, around 45 days ago. Linda Miller did put her application in first. There is no direction in the ordinance of priorities. I just wanted to council to have the full information available.
More of a competition than
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Scott,
that
you got to
correctly.
speak a little louder.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So it's a competition thing. What exactly does Shrimp Fest want to do with Times Square area during Shrimp Fest? They just don't want anything there. They want it at Bay Oaks.
Yes, so they are applying specifically for some parking spaces for 8 hours. They're requesting from 9 to 5. And if I view their map here, they're requesting one professionally staffed 10 by 10 booth, festival information and guest assistance, distribution of maps, schedules, and information. And it attempts to, they're trying to sell merchandise and other promotional item sales on behalf of Shrimp Fest to raise money. So it seems like it's a single 10 by 10 tent. And in my discussions with Tina Yell of the Lions Club, it appears that they had some issues with the previous market before. I can't speak on their behalf. I can only know the information I do have and the permit in front of me.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council McLean, any questions for Nora?
I thought I had this clear, but now I have other
It's a lot,
questions.
don't worry.
So the three dates that are not the Shrimp Fest, or is it 2 dates that are not the Shrimp?
Yes, so there are 3 dates. That is December 19th, January 23rd, and April 17th. Those individual dates overlap with the requests of Linda Miller, and that was previously approved by council. That was the Holly Jolly Fest, which is December 19th. That was the Mermaid Fest on April 17th, and it was the Festival of the Arts, January 23rd. So those were 3 previously approved events separately when we had that call with Danielle Lynch. So,
And those, that they're in the same location. We're talking about the Times Square.
Times Square, correct.
Okay, so there's actually a physical conflict with those 3 dates.
Correct.
And then if I've got this correct, the Shrimp Fest request is, from what I think we heard earlier today, was more of the moving Shrimp Fest from the downtown district to Bay Oaks. It's going to draw an awful lot of visitors, and they want to be able to direct them to the new location is the critical ask here, I believe.
That is what I understand, yes.
And I think what I heard previously was that it wasn't so much a conflict of competition, it was more a conflict of being clearly able to direct the visitors and residents to the new location. Is that what you had heard?
That is correct. I think that's a fair way to say it.
Fair
Absolutely.
characteristic? Okay. I think I'm clear now. Thank you.
Councilor Link?
Yeah, so I just want to clear up your clarity. They also did want to sell merchandise, though. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
So
what's the date? What's the date of the Shrimp Festival?
March 13th.
Is that the 3/13 one?
yes, that is 3/13. That is March 13th and the 14th is for their request, but the overlap is only the 13th.
Okay.
It's a lot of dates, so I appreciate your
It is,
patience.
no, I think I have them here. Yeah, I think I have what I need, Nora.
Counselor King.
Well, I guess I'm not clear because I don't understand why they'd be in conflict or, it seems to me one booth, if you're bringing more people to that area, you can then steer them to the area you want to go to. I don't know why that would be an issue between either one of them. I think it'd be healthy for both of them to be there, but I guess I'm not seeing the problem, I guess.
Yeah, so we process these in the order they are received. So that might be the miscommunication there in terms of my understanding. In terms of that order, it was Danielle Lynch. Now we're discussing Linda Miller. And later on, I'm sure council is more than happy to.
And I'm
view the
speaking,
Shrimp
I'm
Fest.
sorry, specifically of Shrimp Fest.
Yes.
Can't they just coexist there?
I believe so, but that would be up to the applicant. I have two separate, I can maybe coordinate them and ask them to share information and discuss to see if that would be amenable. But this is what I have in front of me. So if there's adjustments that you would like, of course, I would be more than happy to make them and bring this at a next council meeting.
Will, you look like you want to say?
John, if I think your question, and you correct me if I'm wrong, might be one better posed to Linda while she's
Right.
here, if she'd be willing to accommodate Shrimp Fest tent in her plans. But, because we couldn't make that decision.
I understand that. And I think also then the Lions Club needs to be a part of that as well.
Absolutely.
Can they coexist as well?
Well, I guess, Linda, come on up, because
Yes, please.
Are you done, John? Because I want to kind of piggyback on what you're saying.
Yeah.
For me, this seems like it's about being good stewards and good partners. I mean, it's one day of the year. Yes, you've been here a long time. The Shrimp Fest has been going on for a much longer time. And it's one day. I mean, you could still have your event on the 12th. Would you be amenable to the dates that we talked about? Because the first three were previously already approved through another event, which was the December 19th, January 23rd, and April 17th. Are you amenable to those 4 dates and then March 13th, not having those dates or not having your market on those dates?
Okay, can we break that down into two pieces?
Sure.
So with Danielle's events, you guys already approved it.
Right.
So I'm out. I would love to do what Shrimp Fest is doing now and say, hey, I want to be the exclusive promoter for events on Times Square.
Well, I don't think that's what, in all fairness, I don't think that's what the Shrimp Fest is trying to do. I think the fact, at least what I heard, was it sounds like that the fact that it's going to be at a different venue in a different place, they just want to be able to let people know where it's going to be.
So here's my solution for that. Why don't they be a vendor in my market on the 13th? They can set up a tent, and when people are coming through Times Square, because they're going to do it at Bay Oaks, so they just have a tent at Times Square in our event, and they can sell their promotional products and pass out their menus or whatever they're doing.
I mean, I guess if they're open to it, but I didn't get the warm and fuzzies, at least from what I heard.
Yeah.
From Michelle this morning, that's what they want to do. But I mean,
I think
if they're
you're-
open to
I
it,
think
mean,
you're
we're really
s-
talking about one day.
I understand that, but I think you're really missing an opportunity to have like a beach-wide party. I mean, it's just to have things at Bay Oaks and to have things at Times Square. It's
Well,
just a larger event.
That's part of my issue.
Yeah.
Part of my issue is that what we talked about a little bit earlier is it seems like every year I hear from the Times Square merchants how they're having conflicts with your market.
We can talk about that.
Hold on a second. So all I'm asking is, are you amenable to one day a year that you're not going to have that there on the 13th? One, to help alleviate, because to your point, Shrimp Fest is the busiest weekend that we have on the island. And I think that the Times Square businesses would certainly like to have the ability for people to get to their properties, to be able to frequent their places and not potentially have to have staff go down and get in an argument again over blocking people's access, which seems to happen
Yeah.
every single year.
Frankie can stand up for that. That's a misconception. And I'd be glad, I met with everybody last year. I sent Will a letter, met with everybody except for Terry, who wasn't available because he was in Minnesota. So I met with every one of them. We said, they wanted, hey, we don't want this blocked. We set a certain spot where we weren't going to block people. And then they want to move the goalpost. So I'm dealing with irrational people when they keep moving the goalpost. Okay, now we don't want anybody in front of our business. We gave them 40 feet or 60 feet in front of their business. That's plenty of access. So, that's why I wanted to talk about that separate than this. And I would say that if you want to ditch the 3 days with blue ribbon events, I'll be glad to give the Shrimp Fest to Shrimp Fest. I'll be glad to, but I can't sacrifice 4 days during prime season when we are putting in we work the hardest for you guys. We do the hardest advertising. In the slowest months we're out there. We're in the heat. We're there nonstop for you guys and for the community. And here you've given Blue Ribbon Events, who is a snowbird, authorization to have events when we've been there for 3 years. And we've been on the island for 12 years. So I've got to, if you're talking 1 day, Shrimp Fest, and I don't have to worry about Blue Ribbon Events, that's fine. But now you're telling me I've got to tell my vendors they're going to lose 4 days of pay, which is a month of pay.
Well, if we're going to be fair, the property owners that pay a lot in taxes to be there would sure like to have accessibility to their business on a very busy day.
I just
as
covered
well.
that. They have accessibility. They have 60 feet in front of their businesses.
I'm not trying to argue with you, Linda. What I'm trying to say is you were under the bridge. You moved to Times Square.
No, I was never under the bridge.
Well, there was markets that weren't in Times Square until you moved 3 years ago to Times Square.
Yes, at the request of the council. Bill Veach suggested it,
Well,
and you guys
at
have
the request
voted
of a
unanimously
counselor,
for
right?
it.
But my point is, it's 1 day.
No, it's 4 days.
Well, you've already said you're already out. At the beginning, you said you're already out those 3 days because they've already been approved.
Right, so now it's
we're
4
talking
days.
about 1 day.
Now it's 4 days.
All right, I'm not
3
going to
and
go
1.
back and forth with you.
Yeah. Okay.
I've said my piece. I think it would be a good thing for you to do, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. do it.
My solution is they can set up a tent at our market and they can promote that way. And I would even hand
And
out
if they're
flyers
amenable
for
to
them.
that, Linda, that's fine.
What?
If they're amenable to that, if that
Yeah,
solves
I think
the
it's a
issue, I'm
workable
completely fine with
solution
it.
where everybody can win.
But if they're not, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to side on the favor of the Shrimp Festival over that 1 day. And it has nothing to do with you other than the Shrimp Festival has
That's
been around
fine.
a long, long time.
That's fine.
And they're asking for one.
So have
one
we.
day.
And we're supporting businesses like Alex King and
So is the Shrimp
Island
Festival.
Jewel. And no, they've got promoters. They have sponsors. They have huge sponsors. It's a bigger event than you can. The reason they lost money last year is because the sheriff's.
And this is part of the issue that I have. When I hear from the businesses in Times Square, they say this is exactly what happens every single year. You get into arguments with them over something every single year. And I hear it from staff every single year. They're shaking their head. Yes. I'm not making this up, Linda.
No, they're
And you're
making it up.
proving the point of the vendor. Or
Come out there, Dan. Come out there and
All right,
look,
we're
and I'll
done
show
arguing.
you
I don't
they're
wanna
not
get in
blocking the
argument back and
businesses.
forth. I've said my piece. My fellow counselors.
I
can have
would
their
just
vote
like to
as well.
see your boots on the ground. Come out there and we'll show you.
It's been done year after year. Frankie just said year after year. The town manager has said year after year.
It doesn't, it's coerced. I mean, it's
Okay,
concerted
we're done.
effort.
Thank you. You've said your piece. I've said mine.
Okay.
Any other questions for Linda?
I'm still not clear if there is a dialogue between the Shrimp Fest and yourself as to how you might accommodate their booth inside if during that one conflicting day.
Well,
Is that
I'll go ahead and make a motion then, and then we'll see where it goes. How about that? I
Can you
will.
remind me who was approved first?
A blue ribbon was approved for the 3 days first. She is asking for the 13th ahead of
Right, gotcha.
Shrimp Fest.
That's gotcha.
So
So
I
it's
will
all or
make a
nothing.
motion to approve the special event permit as requested with the exception of the 4 dates mentioned, unless they are amenable to, when I say they, I mean the Lions Club, to working with you to have a booth in the same area at the same date. If they are not, my preference will be to allow them to have that 1 day. Is that fair? Is that a motion that you understand, Nancy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second? Okay, no second, that motion dies. Anybody else?
I would
No, too quick.
Too
Sorry.
quick? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, little discussion.
Well, if
Well, you have to
if
second.
there's no second, there's
Oh,
no
I'm
discussion.
sorry, second.
Okay, discussion.
Mayor, can you, just so I'm clear, we've gone back and forth, can you clearly explain to me who's on first?
Sure.
Just so I make sure that I'm,
So my motion would
Voting
be
correctly.
would allow Linda Miller to have her Friday and Saturday, starting October 2026 through May 2027 at Times Square Market from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., with the exception of December 19th, January 23rd, April 17th, and March 13th, unless the Lions Club is amenable to having a tent in the vendor market with Linda's production. Is that,
that is clear, and I
Okay.
can second that.
you did second, so.
I did, so I'm still seconded.
Any further discussion?
I would just like to encourage some dialogue between yourself and the Lions Club to hopefully come to a meaningful solution for both of you. But I will support the mayor's motion as it stands now, and I hope you guys can work it out.
John, anything else?
Well, yeah, to me, they're almost like two separate things under this one umbrella. We've got the Lions Club issue there, and then we've got the concerns of the property owners and tenants that was brought up as well that I'm not sure has actually been addressed. I think Frankie tried to do it earlier, and so did the town manager. So I guess the motion now confuses me because I'm somebody that would like to see them sit down, work together, and then come back to us, the Lions Club and Ms. Miller, and then we can make a decision that way. But again, we still haven't even addressed the concerns that were raised by the property owners and tenants in Times Square.
Will, do you have an issue with, Will, do you mind if Frankie comes up and finishes what he was talking about? Okay. You okay with that, John? Having-
Yeah, no. Anything I can get clarity on, I'm good with.
Again, for the record, my name is Frankie Kirpacek, I'm Community Development Director. Since Hurricane Ian, working with the Millers and the property owners in Times Square, I've attempted to be there almost every Friday morning as they set up to make sure that it was done in a very peaceful and organized manner. The Millers have a great rapport with their vendors. There's a few of the property owners that from time to time wane, whether they're on board or not on board. Through the last 3 years, we've had experience with food vendors setting up in front of locales that began to serve food early in the day. They've acquiesced to that. They've moved those vendors along with the breakfast goods and whatnot that they had to not compete with the vendors that or the property owners that are serving those things. There's been a lot of give and take over the years. This year, this has been a little bit more contentious with some of the development that's going in on the beach side of Times Square. And the Millers more than graciously gave up almost 3 spots to accommodate more than what we do normally would accommodate for other vendors. There still seems to be contentious moments there. And I think it's just going to be because of the personalities involved. But I personally am there almost every Friday morning at 7 o'clock when they start setting up to assure that both sides can kind of calmer heads prevail.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just a couple questions for me, Frankie. This email we received on Saturday cited ordinance section 34-.678. I think I heard the town manager talk about that being more of a fire issue, but it obviously then if it's an ordinance, it's our issue as well. So I don't, how do we address that? And then the other concern that was raised was the safety hazards with the construction that will begin there. How do we see that playing out?
So at the preparation of food, there is no open stoves or ovens that are currently going on. This food is already pre-prepped, so that kind of takes care of our portion of that. And as far as any work that could be happening there, it still has not been decided when it will happen. They are taking the appropriate steps to lease or take care of that part of the right of way, and we'll have to make accommodations with the staff. Currently, it doesn't appear that they would have to do away with the market on those areas. We would just move it more into the center part of Times Square to allow for proper pedestrian traffic and whatnot through there.
Okay, thank
So,
you, Frankie.
Yep.
Frankie, earlier, Barry, he was talking on behalf of the Times Square merchants, and they had concerns with bathrooms and, people coming to use this, and there's no bathrooms. Do we require these events to have any sort of?
Not for the short-term events, no, sir.
Can I speak on that?
Yep.
Lynn Hall Park has restrooms, and we send everybody there. And we explain to customers, if you're going to use a restaurant bathroom, you need to buy something. The same to vendors. If you're going to use the restaurant bathroom, Bella Mozzarella has signs on every single door, no public restrooms. And I told Buffalo Grill, he was complaining, is like, I like the market. I just don't like all the people using my bathrooms. And I said, well, put signs on the door. No, I'm not going to do that. I understand why he doesn't want to do that, because it makes you look bad, makes you look evil and uncaring, So I understand why he doesn't want to do it. But then at the same time, he wants to complain that the market's, bringing traffic that's congesting his bathrooms. Personally, when I walk by, I don't see anybody in line to use his bathrooms. But there are bathrooms at Lynn Hall Park. And there have been forever.
Can I ask a
Certainly, go ahead.
follow-up question? So as it's characterized, unlike the Santini market where it talks about produce, baked goods, food trucks, etc., none of those things are referenced in the Times Square market.
We don't have food trucks at Times
You
Square.
don't have food trucks. It
No.
says merchandise, homemade goods. Is that the baked homemade
We have baked
that you
goods.
have?
Yes. And then last year, I think we also had Philly cheesesteak sandwiches.
Would you be amenable to not competing directly with the food merchants in the Times Square area?
So markets, there's two things to think about. One thing is a lot of those restaurants don't open until 11. We're opening up at 9. One of the restaurants doesn't even take credit cards. So you've got walkers walking around at 8 o'clock in the morning looking for a bottle of water. And they go walk into Bella Mozzarella and they hear, well, no, we don't open till 11 or 10, and we don't take credit cards. So they come back out and they're buying water from us. So there's no, I don't think if you're saying no food, you're just going to kill the market.
I guess I wasn't, in my mind, I'm asking a question. You mentioned the Philly cheesesteaks.
Yes.
To me, that entails direct competition to the restaurants that are in Times Square
Yeah.
versus artisanal baked goods, which I don't think we really have a little bakery down there that
Or
would be
smoothies or-
impacted. I mean,
So-
I can understand there's other items like drinks, like things like that might, but
We don't
my
have
question-
that much hot food.
Well-
In fact, this year, I think we're only going to have one hot food person. And the thing is that at Santini, we had hot food and food trucks and never had complaints from 7 restaurants.
But we're
You
not
know-
talking about Santini. We're talking about Times Square.
Yeah, but we're
And they
talking
have
about the
stood up here
same
this morning
thing.
with their representative and said they have an issue with it. What Councilor McLean is asking you is, will you eliminate the hot food, which was brought up directly by the Times Square merchants?
Yep, we will. Begrudgingly, we will.
thank you. That's my question was, would you be willing to do so that you would not be in conflict with them? And I appreciate your answer. Thank
Yeah, but after we do that, there'll be something else. It's their history.
That would be something in the future. Hopefully there won't be, but this, I think, creates an environment that'll be more conducive to everybody getting along down there.
Okay.
I have- Scott, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Scott.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mayor, can I just point out, I mean, council can vote this motion either up or down. In the event it was voted down, there could be an alternative motion to continue this application so that a lot of these unanswered questions and items could maybe be resolved unless there is some kind of time constraint.
And I understand that and I appreciate it, but a lot of town staff time involved in this already. And this, to me, it seems very simple. Linda has been gracious enough to say that they won't have hot food to compete. You may or may not like the motion when it comes to the Lions Club, but my guess is the Lions Club's probably going to work with you. I'm sure they will. I mean, they seem like they're pretty normal people. I don't know why they wouldn't, but I don't, unless the council wants to continue this, I don't see a need to continue something that
I have another
she
question.
does every year and they do every year. It's one day.
I would like to add that I have run another market at Surfside and Cape Coral. We run it 2 days, and we have no hot food there. We've complied. It does hurt the market. It does, but that's fine.
I'd like to hear from Councilor King, his thoughts on competition and whether or not this is, your thoughts about this, about what I proposed.
No, yeah, I don't have a problem with what you've proposed. I guess I'm still confused as to the motion. And I understand what you're trying to accomplish, Mayor. And you're right, maybe we don't need to have it brought back and we don't need to spend more time on it. But somewhere along the line, I'd like this, and maybe I need to hear the motion again, is these two folks sit down and work this out together and then go from there.
Specifically
On
around
the Lions Club and the market.
Mayor, I have another question, if I
Sure,
may.
go ahead.
So here's what concerns me. We all hope and pray there's going to be some serious construction going on there during this time. Is that possible, Frankie?
Yes, so basically what we'd be doing is whoever would be doing the construction would be liable to put up their own construction fence. And we could just move the market to a safer location. There's plenty of
you're
room within the
comfortable
right of
with
way to accomplish both, yes.
Okay. That's all I want to make sure is that you're comfortable with what would happen, because it doesn't sound like these groups are the kind that might have trouble working it out. And so we don't want to be continuing to, have disagreements.
That's okay. Like I
So-
said, we're there every
Perfect.
Friday at 7
Perfect.
o'clock regardless.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, you want me to restate the motion, Nancy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I made a motion to approve the special event for the Fort Myers Beach Market in Times Square every Friday and Saturday from October 2026 through May 2027 at Times Square located at 1000 Estero Boulevard from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as requested by Linda Miller of Shop Local Productions, with the exception of the dates of December 19th, January 23rd, April 17th, and March 13th, if an agreement cannot be worked out between Linda and the Lions Club for the Shrimp Fest.
Mayor, does your motion include the issue of food?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. And also to include the inclusion of no hot food to be served.
And the second, Ms. Link, you're okay with?
I am okay with
amendments?
that. Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? I'm an aye. Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Go.
Counselor McLean?
I'm aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And Counselor King?
I'll just say, please work it out and I'll vote aye.
All right, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
All right, next is Resolution 26-140, Joint Resolution for CDBG Home and ESG programs for fiscal year 26, 27, and 28. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, ratifying the mayor's signature and approval of the joint resolution with the Lee County Board of County Commissioners and the Town of Fort Myers Beach pertaining to an urban county cooperation agreement for federal fiscal years 2026 to 2028, authorizing the town manager to execute any additional documents needed to implement and administer the town's participation in the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solutions Grant programs for federal fiscal years 2026, 2027, and 2028, and providing for an effective date. Will?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, this is I'm asking for council's ratification of the mayor's signature for us to remain in this grant program. Due to some miscommunications, I didn't receive the notification that we needed to re-sign the agreement until it was already due. The town clerk worked with the officials with this grant to basically, if we get it signed, it's a renewal of the agreement, get signed by the mayor and then ratified by the council at a later date, that would suffice. So that's what we're bringing forward to you today. So we can stay in the grant program. We're already good with the officials for the grant program, just need the ratification today.
Okay. Vice Mayor Safford, any questions?
No, sir.
Councilor McLean?
No, I have no questions.
Councilor Link?
And Will, just for the record, the snafu and the reason you didn't get the email has been corrected, I heard. Is that correct?
It has been corrected. They
Thank
now
you.
have my correct email address.
Thank you.
Councilor Kane?
Just perusing some stuff here. This is for the raising of the houses that, no? Okay.
No.
Then I
Talk
guess
about
I'm,
that one a little later.
all right. Then I'm okay. Thank you.
All right. Yes, we do. I do not have any questions. Is there a motion for resolution 26-140?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 26-140, joint resolution for CDBG home and ESG programs for fiscal year 2026, 2027, 2028.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
All right, got a motion by Councilor McLean, seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? Councilor McLean?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
Councilor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is item D. This is resolution 26-123, FDEM HMGP subrecipient agreement H1360, multiple property elevation, project 4673-312-R. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a subrecipient agreement H1360 with the Florida Division of Emergency Management for HMGP project number 4673-312-R for Town of Fort Myers Beach, multiple properties elevation in the amount of $5,688,229.25, authorizing the town manager to administer the agreement and program, including executing all related documents, attachments, and certifications, providing for an effective date. Will?
Yes, sir. Now, this is the elevation grant, Councilor King, and this is for us basically to move to the next phase of setting up a procurement process and selection of companies that will be eligible to be selected for elevation, the homes when we receive the money from the state, when they meet all the criteria that the Tidal Basin came and spoke to us about. And Frankie he's been having conversations with Tidal Basin and with the FDEM on this, if you have any further questions. Just a continuation of the process for us to assist those homeowners in this process.
Councilor King, any questions for Frankie?
Yeah, I guess I'm confused because we've been frozen out of this process pretty much since the get-go. Tidal Basin has handled it. We talked about how we weren't involved in it, and now we're involved in it, and now we have what looks like a local match as well.
No, so it's a very complicated process.
Well,
So-
it does say a local match.
Right, the local match is 20% that gets put back onto the homeowner.
Okay.
So that is part of that discussion that we had. Tidal Basin informed that we had 25 participants. We still have 25 participants of going for 24 of going for the elevation portion of this. One has an extenuating circumstance, but they're still in the process. As this is not quite just a formality, by signing this document, this gets the wheels in motion for those funds to be transferred from the state to the town.
Sure.
And as our town manager already explained, that we're going to be taking those and going through our regular process. We had looked at trying to do two different processes. One is like a laissez-faire, just let the process take care of itself, which is probably not the best way to do it with these types of situations. So we've had internal discussions and also with Tidal Basin to get a little bit of better grip on how we're going to achieve this and make sure that everyone gets exactly what they have coming to them for their particular house. So by, to the town manager's comments, putting it out for the proper procurement process, we would list all 24 properties in that document and have those bidders on that elevation construction companies bid on, say, I want house 1 and 4, but 3 and 5 don't really match what I can do or that area. And we'll take those bidders that come on those properties then and bring those to the homeowners and say, here is properly procured contractor to move forward with. And we're just going to stay with that process. That's where Tidal Basin will be our boots on the ground, making sure that everything is handled that way. But we're just taking a little bit better oversight of the process.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Link, any questions?
Yeah, this one's always near and dear to my heart. So Frankie, thank you for taking an oversight. These kind of things can get squirrely really fast. So I appreciate you doing that. I think that's critical. Thank you as well, Will, for allowing our team to be on top of that. We get asked the questions a lot, Frankie, about when might I see a contract to sign? I know that's still a bit down the road, but do you have a ballpark that you can share with us?
We're hopeful to, we're working on some final documents right now with Tidal Basin, myself and Jason Freeman has been my partner in this whole thing. From the get-go. So we're working on some final documents to get to Tidal Basin. My staff and community development, Georgina and her staff have been working up the proper elevation certificates, process, those type of things, putting into a checklist form. So we'll have a packet for each of these homeowners to present. Once we have word from FDM that it's a go, Tidal Basin will be the ones that will be initiating that, but we'll have all these packets meeting personally with all 25 homeowners and going through their list of what they can do and how they have to do it.
Right. This is a lot of work, and it's not something they're going to be seeing any day now. This is perhaps this summer.
It's definitely going to be this summer. It should be, to answer your question directly, it should be within the month of July. We should see a lot of movement
Thank
in
you.
this.
That's helpful.
Yes.
That's helpful.
Councilor McLean.
I heard something I think is new information for me just today. Is there a contractor pre-qualification aspect to this?
So there isn't any process in the state. So working through a municipality, you have to be a licensed contractor in the state of Florida, plain and simple.
Okay.
So by us doing it this way and vetting the procurement, we're following the federal standards. All the town's contracts have been federalized for a while now since we've been dealing with the CDBGR and other processes like that. So there are certain requirements that a contractor would have to go through and meet certain requirements just based off of the procurement process. And that assures that you're trying to get just people that do this and do it right are the ones that are in the mix.
But this is no different than what anybody would have to go through if they were doing it on their own. It's
Correct.
the same process,
Correct. You still have to be a licensed Florida contractor.
Okay, and then just to be clear, because the language really wasn't, and when it talks, it actually says 75 to 25 federal to local cost share, as opposed to federal will pick up 75%.
And that
homeowner is
25% gets put back
responsible
onto
for
the local.
25%.
Correct.
My question is any of this total value of 7.9 million allocated to the town being able to administer part of this?
So there is an administrative fee in this contract, and that goes to Tidal Basin for their work. It goes right through that, and those documents will be able to be totally transparent. You'll be able to see what monies were administered to them.
So we're funding this assistance that we're giving to these homeowners through the grant that is being provided to us.
Correct.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yep.
Scott?
Following up on that, I had thought in our last discussion, Tidal Basin, that there was going to be an administrative fee that's going to cover your work, your staff's work.
That's what we just talked about, Councilman Stafford.
What I understood you, Frankie, saying cover Tidal Basin. Are we going to be covered for the town, not Tidal Basin? I mean, there's some.
There's a little bit of heavy lifting here, and yes, we can make sure that money does cover the work. Not only Connor, our contracts person, with putting out the ITB, but also in going through the internal part too, that would be covered underneath that administrative fee. Yes.
I don't know if we can do that, Frankie. I mean, I'm not so sure. I wouldn't say I'm not so sure we can, like we do with TDC funding or anything like that. But really, Councilor Stafford, to your point, this Tidal Basin has identified individuals that will be helping us specifically with putting together these packets and the process and the running this funding. It's really that piece that's where the funding, it goes to Tidal Basin to assist us with this.
Okay.
Does that
I
help?
don't want you to grant, I'm so happy these people are getting their homes lifted, but at the same time, I've got to make sure that we're not, spending exorbitant amounts of money on our end and time staff. So just want to, make sure we cover it a little bit if we can.
If I identify any additional staffing required for this, I would bring that back to Lisa, and then if necessary, back to council. At this time,
Fair
Tidal
enough.
Basin's providing that direct support.
Okay, thank you.
Frankie, just so that I'm clear, so the town is going to put out an ITB to get qualified companies, but will it be on the town or will it be on the residents that are the 25 residents to select from these contractors, or will it be, this is the contractor you have to use?
So it'd be based on, say, you have 3 contractors in the mix. We know that the contracting for elevation, Florida licensed contractors for elevation in this area are, there's a small bucket of people that do this type of work. If you have multiple bidders on a property, you would go with the lowest bidder. That's just like any other contract that we would do.
Okay, so that's where I was
Yeah.
confused. So these contractors are going to have to bid on each specific property.
That is correct.
And the lowest bidder will then get, okay, so it's not the town saying, here's 3 vetted contractors, pick which one you want.
No.
It's going to be similar to every other contract that we have to do.
That is correct.
Whoever's the lowest bidder, that's who's elevating your house. So the homeowners technically don't have a say in who they choose because the funding's coming from the federal government.
That is correct.
The other question I have is, at the other meeting, we talked about, how the homeowners will submit billing to be able to be reimbursed for the money that they're paying out to elevate the home. Is that going to be in place before this ITB so that the contractor will know each specific property is either going to be paying up front or, Tidal Basin? Is that all going to have to be worked out before any work starts?
That's what we're currently doing right now with Tidal Basin, putting together those packets and figuring out exactly where that has to fall. Yes.
Okay.
And in all honesty, we should have that to you within a week or so, finalized on how we wish to proceed with that.
And are we still having, I know we had that initial, or the Tidal Basin had that initial meeting with the 25 recipients. Have we had any subsequent meetings with them to keep them in the loop as to what's going on?
Tidal Basin, Robert Lucht is the representative, the boots on the ground for Tidal Basin. He has been approachable, reachable. I know that he sends me emails and phone calls almost on a daily basis of people that have contacted him, asking him questions. So yes, they're still very much involved with this.
Okay, thanks, Frankie. If there are no other questions, is there where are we at? A motion for resolution 26-123.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilor King, seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? Councilor King?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
Councilor McLean?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is resolution 26-105, ITB 26-13-PW, roadway, curb, and right-of-way repair and reconstruction services. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, to award ITB 26-13-PW to Persons Services Corps as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, authorizing the town manager to execute an agreement between the Town of Fort Myers Beach and Persons Service Corps, subject to legal review, and to expand budgeted funds on behalf of the town, providing for an effective date. Well,
Really nothing further to add to that, Mr. Mayor. This is for us to continue with the work that we need to do after, some of the other work that's been done on some of our right-of-way areas.
Okay.
To allow this contractor, as Jeff determines needed to be used to do that work.
Vice Mayor Safford, any questions?
Not at this time.
Councilor McLean?
No, I don't have any questions.
Councilor Link?
None.
Councilor King?
Well, I'm surprised Vice Mayor didn't ask about the financial impact, so I will.
Thank you, Councilor King. These services are on an as-needed basis, though, will be partially funded either by FDOT, FEMA, road maintenance funds. Really, most of it is reimbursable, but those are our funding streams.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I do not have any questions. But Scott, you have something else?
No, thanks, John, for having my docket.
All right, there's no other discussion. Is there?
I virtually had your back.
Oh boy. Is there a motion for resolution 26-105?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Counselor Link, seconded by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion? Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor McLean?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries